right. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
This just in.
Yes, this just in. Another change. No.
Yes, yeah.
Uh,
So just a quick background. Paula Harris and I have
yes.
known each other forever. I think 1998 started, first getting to meet Paula, and then in 2001 2000, the whole year she trained me on how to coach clients for a whole year. She had me shadowing her, and so we've been at this for a long time together. All that to say, Paula, have you ever seen anything like this before in everything we've been doing? No.
I mean, we went through HIV. That was really the first big dentistry blow up.
Yep.
But we managed that just fine.
Mm-hmm.
I've not really seen the complete shutdown like this. I've not seen the government deal that we have right now, which is great. It's a good stimulus package.
Yes.
So,
and it's a relief package. That's what's amazing about it. It's crazy. Now, in 8, 9, and 10, 08, 9, 10, 11, we saw, cosmetic dentistry took a hit.
Yeah.
And I was, before that, we were talking about 15% growth every year was amazing. We're looking at our trackers. We're looking year over year, our trackers going 50% growth is amazing. And then that hit, and it was more like, well, you only lost 2%, you grew 5%. Like there was that window there of well-established practices. Nobody was shutting down. Doctors weren't talking about getting on unemployment. So to keep that in mind, this is unprecedented. We haven't gone through this. We're not experts in this. This is the first time we've ever done anything like this in all of these years. But there's great information out there, and we've collected a lot of it for you. And so we're going to go through it verbally so you guys can just hear it.
We want to assimilate some of it because we keep getting the questions. And so we just want to address some of those here. And we're not experts, like you said, but even the experts aren't experts.
They say the same thing.
Because no one has seen this before, where things keep being rolled out. And so we're trying to keep our thumbs on it. Eric, you've done a great job. Thank you for all you've done. And
I think we're both bouncing ideas off each other. It's been working great.
I'm so glad to have you to mastermind with.
So I will own up to this. Originally, about almost 3 weeks ago, we did a mastermind group on a Monday night. So I think that was 2 weeks ago.
It feels like 3 years ago. Yeah.
Yes. And I was saying that night, look, pay your employees for 2 weeks. We'll be back. 2 weeks, we're back. Well, I'll be the first to say that's not happening. We're not back, and we're not close to being back. And so if you took that recommendation and you're still paying your employees, my recommendation is to stop paying your employees before April 1st to get out of the way of a few things that we're going to talk about and to set yourself up for success when you come back. I cannot stress that enough, that you're not going to be able to, I would assume, and to cash to fund your employees' full salaries for the next 4 weeks, 2 more paychecks. I mean, for some offices, that's a lot of money. And then to have to build, then just think about this. How long does it take to get an insurance check in your office when you do finally start back up? Mm-hmm. When you do start to get those big checks back in? You're talking about another 30 days. So your cash flow's 60 days out from being normal, at least at this point. Would you agree with that, Paula? Yeah.
I mean, the president just said last night, April 30th.
That means schools are closed till April 30th. That means now you're opening yourself up for FMLA cases where employees are at home and they say to you, I can't come in, and you got to and now you have to pay them their full wages. So
some states are May and some states are June, and then now Oregon, September.
Oregon says September due to they're trying to make sure none of the medical supplies are being wasted. I would assume that's going to be lifted, though. I would assume they're going to, that's just saying, hey, big picture, stop,
Yeah. I do agree with you. I still have several who are paying their team. They have not laid them off. It's admirable. And it's wonderful that you've been able to do that. And you have the cash flow. You've done so well with your budgeting. We are concerned that you're going to use your cash, and this opportunity, this 8-week window to spend this free money is going to pass, and then you won't have that. I mean, so
you're going to have resentment because you're going to end up paying taxes down the line to pay for this. You're going to wonder why you pay so much taxes if you didn't take advantage of this. And the money's going to be gone. The 8-week window, that money is going to be gone. Imagine all the 499 employee businesses are going to go after this money.
Yeah.
They're going to get this huge amount of money. That's why I'm so excited that people like Jeremy or your bank can start the process now. Most banks, big banks, they're not even returning a call because they don't even have an application for you to fill out yet.
That's right.
All right, so let's go through the outline, Paula. Why don't you start with what you think is the most important thing for us to talk about? Now that I got that off my chest, is
well, thank you.
you really ought to be looking at laying off your employees at this point. Yeah, there's two things we're stressed about. It's paying our employees and it's the virus, right?
Yeah.
Either contracting it or somehow being involved. So lay off your employees, remove that stress. They're going to get $1,000 a week up until July 30th.
Some places it's like $800
to $1,000. Okay. Now a week. So if your employee can't live on $4,000 a month and get their mortgage relief for 90 days, right?
Mortgages are being relieved. Plus they're going to get that stimulus check in about 2 weeks from the government.
That's right. I was looking at some families, they're talking about getting like $4,000 in 3 weeks. Yeah. So you take that unemployment amount plus that amount, they're going to be really good.
They're going to be okay.
Remove that stress from your part of your business. You can't handle that right now if you're not seeing patients on a regular basis. Your cash flow is going to be significantly decreased, which I think will turn into another type of relief down the line too in the form of tax credit. We'll talk about that maybe a little bit. And another side of it is coronavirus. Don't force yourself into seeing patients that's going to open you up to liability or malpractice or anything like that. So let's deal. Yeah.
One of the reasons some doctors have kept their team on board is their health insurance. And from what I understand, this loan can be used for the employer portion of the health insurance. So you can keep them on the health insurance. You need to call your plan administrator to make sure how they're going to do it. But that's everything that used to be the law is different now.
So two things. One is you talk to your plan administrator about turning it from a layoff to a furlough. That terminology seems to help in some plans. Yeah. The second thing I'd say is, well, this is a good wake-up call for you to address your medical reimbursement a different way. Instead of paying for a whole plan, let's talk about a stipend that you would give to your employees while they go get their own plan. So you need to compare those two things. I think you should have someone come in. Yep. I have a friend who does this, came into an office of ours and set us up, say, here's all the different plans you can get, the levels of which you can do. And then the doctor said, this is the ceiling. This is the most I'm going to pay for anybody. And it was X hundreds of dollars a month. Yep. Here you go get your plan. And if you were in that situation, you wouldn't be tied to this. Now, we didn't foresee this, so there's no blame here.
I mean, and I have some doctors who do it that way, but then some don't. So one of the big questions I'm getting is, can I pay myself? And under this, yes. From what I'm understanding, now this is really confusing here. So you've got associates, you've got hygienists, you've got people on commission, and then the doctors pay, the owner doctor.
Yes. Yeah.
So yes, you can pay yourself.
And the question is because they're over $100,000 and I'm the owner. Those are the two parts of this.
Yes. So when you're doing your 12-month payroll cumulative number divided by 12, put in $100,000 for yourself. If you made more than that, too bad. You tops off at $100,000. If you have an associate, you can put in $100,000. If they were on 30% commission or whatever, you can put in $33,000.
The most
you're
going to pay.
Manager makes a lot like that, $100,000, and then that they'll qualify for $8,333.33 a month. You have to divide that whole year by 12. Right.
Exactly. So up to $100,000. Any wages in excess of $83.33 a month, $100,000 a year, right? Does not cannot count it in this average. No. So, which is still plenty of money when we move from unemployment to this. So the plan would be have your team on unemployment today before April 1st. Yeah. And then go get the CARES Act 7A grant money application started now. So that way you're in line to get the money. The money's going to run out. So get in line to get the money. And that's going to be 2.5 times the average of your salary, including you. Okay, up to $100,000. So let's say your payroll's $50,000 a year, 2.5, you're going to get $125,000 grant money that you're going to use to pay your employees, pay yourself You're not going to be able to pay anybody more than $8,333 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to pay your mortgage interest. You're going to pay, or you can pay your rent 100%.
Utilities, gas.
Utilities, yeah, your internet, your phones.
But it's not just the payroll that's included in the calculation.
That's right. Taxes, health care.
1099.
Mm-hmm. 1099 employees.
Here's what I got. This is from Kane and Waters,
Yep.
and I sent this in an email yesterday to everyone. Payroll cost, associates, independent contractors that you would consider part of your team. For example, I have a doctor who has a temp.
Yeah.
He brought in from a temp service.
Yeah.
Yeah. Group health care premiums. This is included in your calculation.
Mm-hmm.
Interest on a mortgage obligations, like your real estate, and your interest on equipment loans that you have, not the principal. Rent and utilities, interest on any other debt occurred prior to 2/15.
February. Yeah, February 15th. So you couldn't go buy equipment and go, yes. And it's just the interest on the debt. Now, what about 401k, Paula? Does it say, because I saw something on that.
Yes. So when you get the money, that's what you can use it for.
Yeah.
For applying gross wages, salaries, commission, vacation pay, medical leave, sick leave, health insurance payments by employer, retirement benefits, employer
Right
pays,
there.
not what the employee pays.
The employer pays, yeah.
Not what the employee pays, but what the employer portion is. So that's figured, that's figured in here in the application.
Yeah.
So
it's good news. There's so much stuff that's going to be covered. Yeah.
And you can also draw down $100,000 of your 401k without any penalty.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah, I think that's a last ditch option. Yeah. So Jeremy, who's a great friend of mine, is basically his bank he's an SBA loan officer, and their bank is top 20 in the nation as far as SBA rankings go, as far as customer service and the loans they do and everything. And I asked him, I said, look, we want to get the money now, but we don't want to start spending the money now, because once you get the money, loan origination, you have 8 weeks to spend it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I asked him, I said, we want to go get the money. We want to put the applications in now. Can we do that? Yes. I said, wait a second. Maybe we don't want that, because loan origination might be an issue, because then we only have 8 weeks. It takes 3 weeks to fund. We'll only have 5 weeks to spend the money. That doesn't make sense. So we did some research. We figured out loan origination will be when you actually take the money. Okay?
Yes. When it hits your account.
That's right.
When it hits your account.
So I asked him, I said, can we get approved for the loan, but don't have it hit our account until we say yes? And his answer was, I don't see why not. But he has a meeting today at 2:00. He's going to ask that question to confirm. So that means we can set ourselves up for real success here. If your team's on unemployment for, say, the month of April, you're going to get a ton of money from government assistance, and you're not going to have to worry about getting your bank drained, because you may not be starting until May 1st now. And let's say you say, all right, I'm ready for the money, Jeremy. He then funds your account on April 30th.
Mm-hmm.
You now have 8 weeks to spend your money.
That's right. And we don't have to spend it all. Let's say if you're in a state where you can't come back till May, mid-May, you don't have to spend it all by June 30th.
No.
That was a misconception too. That was a big confusion.
You have to have, that's right. You have to have your team hired by June 30th. Yes. So they could be on unemployment until July 30th. But if you want to use this money to pay them, you have to hire them by June 29th.
And Cedar Solutions and Kane and Waters both agree on that.
That's right. And honestly, I'm not going to say who told me this. The government is not going to be able to monitor how everybody spends their money. The bank is going to monitor it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 8 weeks part of it. How long did it take to do?
They've had to put this out to the banks.
That's right. They can't monitor
all
that.
To try to monitor all the government. Yeah.
Don't overthink this. I know we work with a lot of C's who have a lot of questions. They want a lot of details. Get your average. You're going to, think big on how much. Now you're going to have to justify where you came up with this number. You're going to have to show them. I know right now it's just telling the banks a number, but at some point when the real application comes out, you're going to have to show them that. So
yeah, you will. So get your stuff together and get your name in the pot. Get in line.
Yeah.
For this.
I want to show something real quick, just since we're kind of on that. So we'll do a quick screen share, Paula, and let's see. Boom. There it is. All right. I want to show you this. and this dol.gov is amazing.
Yes.
So this question keeps coming up on the FMLA because we're worried about having to pay our employees if the schools aren't open,
Yes.
or if they contract coronavirus, and you either got that 2-week window you got to pay them, or the 10-week window. Yep. Another reason to lay off your employees so they get a ton of money from the government assistance is you will not have to pay if your employer is furloughed their employees.
Yes.
So get out of the way.
That's right. And here's the other thing I keep getting. Well, I laid off or furloughed these 5, but I kept these 2 because they're working some. No, everybody. And then if you pull them in for a few hours, they just have to report that income.
That's huge. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So 100% employment, not work share. Yeah. Don't do that. Do 100% unemployment rate. They're going to qualify for the plus 600 a week, right? That federal government's paying. And what's going to happen is if they work 2 or 3 hours, they just report that and it's deducted from their unemployment.
So that's the better deal than trying to keep someone on payroll. Because I'll share part of my screen too, is what I wanted to show about the same website you were just looking at, is how this Family First Act is going to affect you if you are keeping them on board. Not that they shouldn't get that, but I've had a lot of team members really looking at this. They've heard about it and they want it. So here's what's going to happen if they are still employed, and maybe you're okay with this, that's fine. This is number 7 on this website, which I emailed out to a bunch of people yesterday. And so you've got the different sections of the Sick Leave Act.
Yeah.
If they're under the, there's a couple of different ways it's going to work. Mm-hmm. Some is only 2 weeks, and some is 12 weeks.
Yes.
And there's a big difference there, and this website really outlines that. And you've also got the child care thing and the staying home with sick person. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's 12 weeks. Is the child care 12 weeks? It's only 2 weeks, isn't it?
2 weeks. 2 weeks for child care, 12 weeks for sick. Just think that in terms of your mind. You'd have to pay your employee for 12 weeks, okay? Yes. 3 months if they or someone in their house contracted coronavirus.
And there's a difference, the $500 a day or $200 a day. There's a big difference in the payout. Or $2,000 over the entire 2-week period. That's all you're going to get here. And for this particular one, $511 a day, $5,000 over the entire paid sick leave period of 12 weeks. The first 10 days is not paid. Yep. So there's a big difference in how this works and how much you have to pay out. And the team thinks they can get 12 weeks to stay home with their kids. It doesn't sound like that to me.
No, that's if they're sick. They've gotten sick from coronavirus. So, I don't think it's worth it for an employee to look at it that way, because you're not laid off and now you don't get relief from your mortgage either. So
here's another question I keep getting is, okay, so they're making more than they were making in the office on unemployment, and they're not going to want to come back to work. Well, here's the deal. If you offer them their job back and they say no, they no longer get unemployment. You report that to unemployment. Hey, I offered them their job, they wouldn't take it.
You can't quit your job and get unemployment. We all know this. And somebody says, well, and they could fight it. They could say, no, he terminated me, and you just have to go, you have to stand your ground and say, no, that's not the way it works. Or you could say, you know what, that's a turkey anyway, and go ahead and get government assistance, be blessed, and I'm going to hire somebody else who wants the job. I've got 8 weeks of money to pay them a great rate of pay. And
you just have to have the full team back. This is another stipulation, right?
Yes, so you got to replace them.
If you had 10 team members when you did your 12-month payroll average, you've got to have 10 team members again by the end of June 30th.
It looks at a specific 2-month span. It says, how many employees did you have here? That's how many employees you should have here too. There's a 25% cushion on the money you're spending. You can't decrease everyone's pay and say, okay, everybody come back at 50% normal rate. That's better than unemployment or whatever, right? And I'm going to pay you less. That won't work. Then it will turn. Then your money turns from a grant into a loan. So you want to pay everybody what they were getting paid for 8 weeks. And maybe they're not all ready to come back yet. Maybe we start this May 1st and not everybody's ready to get back. you're still going to pay them and they're going to be at home or working from home. That's okay. It's now government assisted money. It's grant money. It's free. That's the other question is, how do I know, Paula, that I'm not going to get stuck with this $125,000 loan?
Yeah, exactly. That's the deal. I mean, if you spend it on the things they say you can spend it on,
That's
right? Pay yourself.
Yep.
You're paying yourself. You're paying your associates, paying your hygienist, paying your team, paying your mortgage, the interest on your mortgage, any other loans.
Healthcare. Yep. This is how you get stuck with paying it, is if you don't pay them all the money, the employees, all the money that they're owed, right? Their normal rate of pay. Or if you go out and buy a bunch of equipment or another office or something like that. Now it's a loan. And even if you don't spend all the money, let's say you don't spend the money in the 8 weeks for whatever reason, I don't know how that's possible, but you don't spend this money, then let's say there's $25,000 left on top. You can reject that money. You didn't accept it. You can send it back, so you're not owed anything. Or it turns into like I think at that point it's 10 months, no interest line of credit.
Yeah.
After that, it's another 9 years. It's a 10-year at 4% loan. So if you really needed the money to get by, you got time to pay for it.
Exactly. You
so
do.
Think about that, Paul, as far as if you get too much money, right? If you got too much money
in a separate checking account.
That's right.
They recommended.
That's right. And so Jeremy says, oh, you have to open an account with me. Put the money in there.
Yeah.
Send the money out of there as you need it into your bank. That's when you're activating your 8 weeks.
Then you have a clean paper trail of what you spend it on. Don't commingle it with your other checking
existing
account.
money. That's right.
Not a good idea.
That's right.
So let me clarify something else too about Families First Act. If you do end up having to pay that, let me share my screen because this came from the Dental Town webinar. Right here. It's going to be reimbursed. Initially, you had to apply for a tax credit for the quarter. You had to float the money, but now you don't have to float the money. You offset your employer portion of withholding taxes, so you don't have to wait to get a credit back.
Yeah.
So if you end up paying that leave, you submit that to your payroll company. Those withholding taxes you don't have to pay. And the other question I get, Eric, is about the 50 workers and under. That was never stated, but you can exempt. You can ask for an exemption.
It's a process. Yeah, we don't even know what's going to be required for you to file for exempt status. But I know you're exempt if everybody's laid off. So I just cannot stress enough how much I recommend that you.
That's right. Everybody was waiting because the ADA appealed for it to not be for 50 and under, but you've got to prove that your business will not be viable.
It'd be in jeopardy.
If you had to pay the Families First Act. So
that's right.
It's just not right now with the way things are looking, and they're pushing it out. It's longer than 2 weeks. Doesn't look wise to use your money at this point.
So let's ask this. I've had doctors say, should I file for unemployment? And
I had that question too. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's as good as the loan.
So here's the thing. Until I fund the loan though, for the month of April, should I file for unemployment? Now I'm going to ask this question to Julie Martin this afternoon, the CPA. I've told some doctors, look, depending on your cash flow, do what you need to do. But my thought would be for the 4 weeks or 6 weeks, March through the end of April, your business is going to look really low. And then there's going to be some sort of tax credit in this relief package. I need to find that out.
I heard like a 50% tax credit.
That's right. So you're not going to be able to double dip and say, I want unemployment now, and I want my business to recoup 50% of what it lost in the relief package. Yeah. So my thought is don't file for unemployment if you can all help it. Not to mention the fact a lot of S-corps didn't check the box to donate to, although I'm even hearing if you're on the unemployment websites, it's saying if you're even a entrepreneur, if you're a sole proprietor, you can file for unemployment. So
I saw that. I saw that on the website.
I think if you can hold out and not take the unemployment as an owner, you're going to get more later, but I'm going to confirm that this afternoon with Julie.
That was kind of my thought too. I mean, that still needs to be confirmed, but I think you're going to be able to get that $83.33 a month for yourself.
Yeah.
in that payroll loan.
Yeah, there's an employee retention tax credit, 50% up to 10,000 if you keep all of your team. I'm going to have her explain that. When is that?
Don't have the details on that.
Yeah, and I don't know that we're going to qualify for that anyway because the layoff. So I don't know how that's going to work. So I'm going to ask.
You can delay your 401k contributions. Your estimated taxes are delayed now, as well as your tax return. If you think you're going to get a refund, you probably should go ahead and do it. But that could come in handy right now.
Yeah. I'm going to ask her about if this money is taxable income, which I'm pretty certain it's not. And we talked about the conversion to a loan.
I mean, Kane and Water said last night, this payroll loan is not taxable income.
Once this kicks in, we'll pay our teams as normal as we normally did through whoever your payroll tax company is, and so you're not having to change how you pay anybody. It's business as usual once you initiate this. Yeah.
Once you initiate the loan.
Yes.
So let's talk for a second about the EIDL, the disaster relief loan, SBA, because there's some confusion about that. There's the 7A loan, then there's the $10,000 grant.
So it's really important to know that the EIDL, the Disaster Relief Fund, has been in place for about 10 years or more. And it's for like tornadoes and floods. Like in Houston, when the flood was there, they said, my business is like kaput. They said, come get an SBA loan. And the first 10,000 will be a grant. The rest of it is 3.5% for 48 months. You have 4 years to pay it back. So they went and got, $100,000 loans basically that they're still paying. Now, you can go get that, and it's going to take a while to fund the same. But here's the caveat is you would only want the free $10,000 at this point if you're comparing that to 7A, right? And that $10,000, they say you can't double dip. So if you were going to get that 125 from 7A and you got the 10,000 from disaster relief, you're now getting 115 from 7A. The most you're going to get is that 2.5 times your monthly average.
Yeah.
So why go get 2 loans? My thought, Paula, was use the free money now. If this gets extended beyond we're comfortable and all of a sudden we're short on the other end of the 8 weeks, now go apply for the EIDL loan and get disaster relief at that
That could be a good strategy. Yeah.
I don't know if that will work, but that would be my guess. They might say, well, you don't get the first 10,000 free. That's fine. I need a loan now for 48 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another reason to ask for more than you think you really need in the 7A up front and then not accept it or accept it. And it's a 10-year, 4% interest loan. So it'd still be better than the EIDL. I see the ADA pushing that. And I disagree with the concept of free money versus a loan.
Right.
So
well, some are saying, well, maybe I'll get the EIDL to cover first. It just depends on how fast. We just don't know. They're saying the PPP loan will come in 3 or 4 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks, I'm hearing.
If you got bills to pay in April, we don't know how fast they say they're expediting everything, but
I mean, an SBA loan typically takes 4 months to file for.
I don't think it'll take that long.
We're getting it done in 4 hours is what they're saying. So look, stay focused on this fact too. Bills should not really be having to be paid right now, maybe rent, but you can tell your landlord, look, I'll have the money. I'm getting the money in a month. I'll make 2 months payments. It'll be free money to you.
Cedar did say, pay your rent. Don't give your landlord any reason to evict
you out. That's right. But you might say, hey, the money's coming. Here's when it'll be here. It was due on April 1st. I don't have it, but here it's coming. The money's coming. So
most landlords are going to be gracious. I mean, if you've if your building's owned by some corporate that lives in another country, they don't care. I mean, be careful with that part. But it doesn't hurt to ask. You just need to get it in writing.
That's a good point.
You definitely need to get it in writing if they're going to give you grace on your rent.
So,
for sure.
What's next?
I think I covered.
All right, let me just look here for my questions.
The main questions that I've been getting.
Okay. Oh, here's one. How can I pay rent to myself and include it in my CARES Act loan? So I'll ask Julie that question. But if
I
you're
think
your own landlord,
however you have your business set up, if
yeah.
you're paying, and I have a lot of doctors who pay themselves rent.
The
And
issue
to me,
is, yeah, you have to have been probably paying yourself rent before. You can't all of a sudden say, oh,
you
now I
can't
need to pay
opt out.
myself rent. Yeah.
And I got another one too. I'm sorry, they're all kind
Yeah,
of
that's
popular.
good. Yeah.
But like one was if you pay your spouse,
Mm-hmm.
include that in your payroll.
That's
But
right.
you can't start paying your spouse all of a
If you
sudden
weren't.
if you have not been,
That's
or
right.
your kids. But if you have been, they're on
That's
the
right.
payroll, you
You're
can.
taking total payroll. Think
Yeah.
big when you think of total payroll, and then 2.5 times that. The half is to pay your expenses, and the 2 out of the 2.5 is to pay your team for 8 weeks. We're
Right.
going to initiate that probably May 1st now. Your team should be on unemployment from April 1st to April 30th. That's my, I have to say, recommendation, right, Paula?
Yeah.
I'm recommending that.
We're not the experts,
That's
and even
right.
the experts aren't the experts.
That's right.
But,
That's right.
on any of this. But these are questions we've been getting, we wanted to address for you. And then also all the webinars we're watching and all the notes we're taking and trying to piece all the parts together and trying to send official documents, official websites. We're trying not to interpret ourselves. We're just trying to let you know what we've been told from entities.
Yeah. The other question I had here, we already
All right.
answered on the FMLA. And let's see. I'm going to look at this. Okay, going back a year, we've explained how to go get your 2.5 average. Go get your average payroll. Think big. Everything has to be included. 2.5 times that. Let's see. All right. This was the question too. When do I have time to, to use this money? When does the 8 weeks start? And we're saying, look, the 8 weeks isn't really going to be monitored. It's when you're funded. Everything is working out really positive. I mean, it's all good news from what we're hearing now.
Again,
you don't have all
like
the
I
details.
said in the beginning, you do not have to use the money by June 30th.
Yes.
You just have to have all your team back by June.
And you have to apply for the loan by June 30th. But if you wait until then and they just stay on unemployment, the money's going to be gone. So you want to apply for it now. That's right.
Because there's a limited amount. Yeah.
Let's see. Normal operating supplies. I don't know. No, it's not. You cannot use this money for advertising. You cannot use this for buying equipment and that kind of stuff. Let's see. How are we going to report this? We don't know.
The bank will tell you.
Yeah, the bank's going to be the one monitoring it. So if you have a great relationship with your bank.
I like my little pun, the buck stops here with the bank, or maybe it starts there.
Maybe it starts there. That's right.
So they're going to have all the rules rolled down to them.
I have a couple practices considering transition, and I don't know what your thoughts are, Paula. My thought was stop. Don't proceed into a practice transition at this point, whether it's selling or buying.
Unfortunately, no, I don't think it's a good idea. That's just my thought.
Yeah, I would wait. Look, we've been paying into unemployment insurance. We're owed that money back, right? And that is okay. Government assistance, that's what they're here for. Still meet with your team once a week. Do a Zoom meeting like this.
Oh, yes.
Start to stay in communication with them. Keep a plan. I saw a post last night. He made an offer to his office manager who was, over 60 years old. So I think she's probably close to retirement anyway. And he said, 4 hours a week, come in, that sort of thing. You'll get your unemployment, blah, blah, blah. And I'll bless you on the other end. She's like, no, thank you. I'm out. And all these comments were coming in about what he could or shouldn't do legally. I'm like, listen, she's ready to retire. She feels at risk. She doesn't want to come in. And he even said, I offered for her to work at home the 4 hours. And she still said, no, it's not for me. And everybody was talking about, well, should she qualify for unemployment? I'm like, look, so what if she qualifies for unemployment? That's okay.
It's okay.
There's a great retirement package for you. You've worked a long time for me. This was my post. I said, now you have an opportunity to bring on an all-star. And you got about 4 weeks to find this person.
There you go. Yep.
And you're going to pay her what you were paying that person because your money just has to be the same. Go find yourself a really good person. So this is all really good news, guys.
It really is. So there's a lot more to it. There's a lot of details. We're just skimming the surface here. Please, like Eric said, please stay in touch with your team. They need to hear from you. They need to see your face, do a video. And also your patients. Please stay in touch with them. Stay on social media, emails, texting. Let them know you're still there. You have not gone away, and let them see your face as well.
Right. For any clients that I'm managing your Facebook accounts for, there's about 20 of you. just text me your video you want me to post with the lingo you want under it. I'll be happy to do that customized post for you.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Okay, guys?
Okay. And
Awesome.
check your emails. I know we sent a ton of stuff. Oh, yeah, it's exhausting. Somebody asked me yesterday, do you ever sleep?
Yeah. Well,
I haven't much. I took a nap.
yeah, working 7 days a week is interesting for people on our side of it, you know, dentistry in general, but it is necessary for those at the top that are trying to figure out how to best take care of their teams and their business.
We care about you and we want to help you. We really do. We're trying to figure out just like you are.
Yep.
So we're passing it along, and thanks to everybody who shared stuff with us, because that's been helpful too. You'll find things out faster, or you know, whatever. So it takes a village, right, Eric?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. All right.